Hey guys, Zangetsu 134 here, bringing you Kamen Build Episode 13 Vlog Review. So, in this episode we finally find out that Nabishima had told Sento that he knew the identity of Bloodstalk, which is revealed at the end of the episode to be owner Soichi, Sento's first friend, who used Sento and Ryuga to break into Nabishima Industries to steal the Pandora's box so he could take the full bottles in Pandora's box in order to do something nefarious. And of course, at the end, it is revealed that he is in fact Bloodstalk as he makes a run for it with the full bottles in Pandora's box and the panels. And the episode ends with Ryuga chasing Soichi to get the full bottles in Pandora's box back. This episode was actually kind of interesting for me because it more or less shows that there's infighting with Faust, mostly due to both sides having clearly differing opinions on what is going on what they should be doing. With Night Rogue wanting to get the Pandora's box and build so that he can have weapons to create an army, Night Rogue, and Stark clearly having other reasons for wanting the Pandora's box. This kind of goes to my own theory about Soichi, in that I think he was driven mad by the Pandora's box, or at least in some ways, that he feels he should be the only one to have the Pandora's box, as he clearly is obsessed with the thing. But it was kind of interesting to see how the industries, the corporation clearly was clearly willing to go to Stalk because he was able to get the box over Night Rogue and been hiding it. So clearly they also just want the Pandora's box for reasons. But it was an interesting episode just because of the fact that we were able to see the heroes actually get a hold of the Pandora's box for a amount of time. We also clearly see the beginnings of Sento knowing, because clearly the entire episode he knew, but he didn't want to tell the others because he had to be sure. Because Nabishima could have been lying to him, or, not remembering it correctly because of the effects of the nebula gas, and also because part of him didn't want to believe it. But it makes sense, especially because, the show, in my opinion, definitely hinted at it very early on, since we would not see the owner for very large periods of time. We never saw him getting Misora out of Faust. Which I think kind of hints to the idea that she may have known that he was Bloodstalk the entire time. Or at least maybe she also had an inkling that he was Bloodstalk. But I think she clearly cares for Sento and Ryuga. I don't know. I think she's too nice to actually be in on the whole thing. I think she probably had just ideas. It also makes sense since he also protected Misora from Night Rogue on one occasion. I guess being that, Soichi is still a good person, because I can't believe he's completely evil, but I can't believe he's completely good either. I guess being that Bloodstalk is almost either a split personality or effects of the Pandora's box. Especially because clearly he protected Katsuragi. My theory being that he killed the rocker that Sento's face was taken from, and either erased Katsuragi's memories or put parts of the brain in, or altered parts of Katsuragi's brain so he thinks he's an entirely new person. But otherwise, it would be the only way to explain how Sento went from being a rock star to a physicist. That being that more than likely he was originally Katsuragi, just given a new face and having all of his memories erased. Um, Especially because again, Sento really liked the egg roll that Katsuragi's mother made. That most other people thought it was too sweet, but he really liked. Um, so yeah, like I think we're getting fragments of what's going on. It's easy to either make theories or piece together what's going on. And I know I haven't really talked about the episode too much, but I really liked just how much like mystery this episode kind of revealed, but still left us a lot to try and figure out. The fight stuff was really fun. I really I'm gonna try and go back to the episode now. The fights were really fun. I love the scene when Sento tried to open the door, but he couldn't press the buttons because of the thick gloves of the build suit. So Ryuga told him, use your pinky because it's still thick, but it's not nearly as thick as the other fingers. I really love that. That was a really funny joke, and I really like that Ryuga and Sento still argue and get into silly stuff while they're as Build and Cross. That was really neat. I really did like the fight between Ryuga and Ryuga Build, between Cross, Build, and Bloodstalk. Mostly because Stalk, which also furthered that Soichi knew who he was, because Stalk has been able to counter every single form of Build up to this point. So Sento had Misora purify the last full bottle without owner's knowledge, so that he could have all 20 full bottles, which they even hint that this is the last of them. I know there's Wolf Phone as well, but I almost wonder if that's going to be like later stuff, or that like those are artificial full bottles created by Faust. Not really sure yet how that's going to go. Because I assume they're all important to the Pandora's box. We might get later full bottles that are, especially because in the next episode we're going to get Rabbit Tank Sparkling, which is an entirely new full bottle that's based around a soda can. Which I'm curious how that shows up. I'm assuming it's going to be actually something from the Pandora's box, because in that episode he just has it, and we didn't see him build that. Because normally we see Sento building everything he makes. Unless that was the point, that we weren't supposed to see either, because that way Soichi wouldn't know he had that. But I'm just curious because, like, it doesn't really make sense to me how he could make that, especially when, like, he's not made any full bottles. He's made the devices to capture nebula gas from smashes in order to make purified full bottles, but we have yet to see him make, like, some super transformation device based on his first form. I mean, granted, Cross Dragon is needed for Ryuga, but yeah. But anyway, so he used Octopus Light, which I really liked. I liked the fact that it's all based around like blinding or inconveniencing, such as the lights on the the light bulb side used to blind, and then the Voltec finish is this goop that comes out of the octopus, like the ink of an octopus that binds and blinds the opponent while he gets ready to use a light powered energy punch, which we also got to see Ryuga's million million smash finisher, where he uses the sword, he pumps it up 3 times to get full volume, and putting the key or the lock full bottle into the cross sword. And they together were able to defeat Bloodstalk. They couldn't dehension him, but they were able to drive him off so they can get the Pandora's box. But yeah, the entire episode you can clearly tell that Sento clearly knows something, especially because they go back to how Sento was found by Soichi, and how we get to see the very first tension of Build, because the show opened and clearly Build had been doing Sento had been Kamen Rider Build for at least, I don't know, a couple of months at most, maybe a year, and he had been, I mean, granted, because he had a lot of full bottles already. He didn't have a lot of best matches, but he definitely had a lot of full bottles. And so we saw him actually transform for the very first time, and how the cafe had became a place that he could say I'm welcome home, and basically, you know, come back to after battles. I really like that they showed just how much the place means to Sento, and how much Misora and Soichi mean to Sento, just as much as Ryuga or Report. I'm so bad at remembering names, which is weird because I've watched like 13 episodes of this show and I'm totally blanking on names. But yeah, it was definitely a good episode. Definitely a sad episode for a lot of things, because we are definitely going to be seeing the status quo change quite a lot. We might even like see them have to leave the cafe permanently. I kind of doubt that, because it's rare that we see riders lose their main base of operations. Usually that doesn't happen until like the last episode. Like Kamen Rider Forze losing the rabbit hutch at the end of Forze. But yeah, it's very rare you see the base of operations that the rider acts out of get destroyed or anything like that. So my better guess is that Soichi's going to end up deserting them, or that he will lose. I assume at some point he'll probably lose the Bloodstock ability or die. I don't think he'll die. Because I feel like he's going to be around. I think basically he's going to actually kind of come out and admit that he's definitely a mole for Katsuragi. Or at worst, he might be the main villain, but I can't, I'm not really sure what'll happen. Especially because I know Night Rogue will get more forms, and we haven't gotten any sort of scan stuff, magazine scans that say that Stalk will go on. I definitely think he's going to be defeated in the next episode. I think it's going to be a little bit tragic in some way, shape, or form. Especially because I think everyone's going to figure it out. I don't know. I think Misora definitely in some ways has figured it out already. Either that, or Sento told her the theory and that he had to prove it. Especially because at the end when she kept going, I'm like, welcome home. I think she almost thought that Sento was going to desert her, and then Sento realized what was going on. He's like, nah, sorry, I'm not, nothing's gonna like keep you and me apart, because you, me, and Ryuga, if nothing else, are family. But yeah, it was a really good episode, a really sad episode, especially even with like all the victory stuff that happens, or like, and especially the scene at the end when they're all sitting around a Katatsu and having a meal together, and then it goes into the next scene where we see Soichi sneaking off with the Pandora's box, the panels, and the full bottle, and it's the full bottles, and it's really hard to watch, because you basically know he's abandoning them because he wants to continue with his evil schemes. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. I do apologize that it was a little bit later. I've it's the holiday season. I'm gonna try and not be later on these, but it just depends on my work schedule, because I try to do these on my days off. And I was originally supposed to be off Tuesday. I wasn't gonna do it Monday because I had some appointments I had to do on my day off, and Tuesday was going to be the day I was gonna sit down and finally watch Build. But then I had to take the shift. I had to change shifts, and so I'm off today. But anyway, guys, that's enough for today. I hope to catch you all later. Until then, take care.